What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm back for week 3 of the NFL season, which kicks off tonight, back with the week 3 picks. So week 2 we went 10-6, 20-11 on the year, so not too bad, but want to definitely be better this week. Want to have a few more dubs and a few less L's. Last week was pretty crazy for the NFL. Drew Brees got hurt. He's out 6 to 8 weeks. Ben Roethlisberger out for the season. So it's just kind of a crazy week. We saw, Patrick Mahomes still looking as good as ever. Lamar Jackson had another great week. We saw some pretty cool things happen last week. The Eagles had a bunch of injuries to their wide receivers, so that was tough for them. But yeah, it was a pretty crazy week, definitely. Cam Newton looks like he's about to be out for a while again as well. He still just isn't fully healthy. So a lot of big injuries going on in the league right now. But let's get into the week 3 picks. Tonight, we have the Titans at the Jaguars. I'm definitely taking the Titans in this one. I had the Titans winning last week, and they actually lost. The Colts still showing that they're still a good team even without Andrew Luck, and it's really nice to see that Jacoby Brissett's been able to definitely help them stay in control and competitive in these games. So Colts won last week, but I'm definitely going with the Titans this week. The Jags obviously without Foles right now. They still don't look too great. The Titans have a good defense, so I think that's going to be enough for them to take that game tonight. Not the most exciting of games, but it's still football, so it's better than nothing. The Bengals at the Bills. Bills have been pretty solid these first 2 weeks. They're taking full advantage of the fact that the Dolphins are terrible and the Jets have a lot of injuries. They're trying to be the second best team in that division and maybe potentially compete for a wild card spot. I'm definitely going to take the Bills at home this week. The Bengals, week 1 weren't terrible. Last week, man, they got their doors kicked in. The Bengals they're still in a rebuilding phase. I had them going like 5-11, 6-10 at best on the year, so I'm not really surprised to see them taking L's. The Bills have definitely been a little bit more surprising for me. I definitely trusted their defense, but offensively, they've been able to do enough. So I got the Bills definitely taking this one and going to 3-0, which I don't think many people would have had them at to start the year. Lions at the Eagles, kind of a tough one here. I actually did predict the Lions to win last week, and they did over the Chargers. I don't think that was the popular pick, but I just had a feeling, the Lions looked good in week 1, so I had them winning last week, and they did. But I had the Eagles winning as well, but they probably would have won had they stayed healthy in that game, but they lost Jeffrey early. They lost Deshaun Jackson early, Dallas Goedert. Zach Ertz even got hurt at a point, towards the end of the game, but he stayed in there. So they were just really banged up. They probably could have won it if, they stayed healthy there, but they still almost won. If Zach Ertz could have reached out for that first down, or if Aguilar didn't drop the big pass a few plays before that, they might have been able to come away with that one. But either way, they still were competitive in that game despite being injured. But it's a tough one because, if some of those guys can't play, I think I kind of like the Lions in this one because they're looking pretty decent to me right now, and the Eagles are banged up. So I'm going to go with the Lions in this one, but I wouldn't be surprised at home if Philly could still weather that storm of those injuries and make it happen. Patriots at Jets. I'm clearly taking the Patriots here. The Jets they looked bad. I was actually at that game. I was in New York on vacation for a few days, and I went to that Monday night game versus the Browns, and man, it looked so much worse in person than it did on TV. And with the injuries that they have right now, that's going to happen. They don't really have a good quarterback in there right now with Darnold out. CJ Mosley, not sure if he's going to miss the game again this week, but as long as their QB is out, it's just going to be tough. And the Patriots look just as good as they've ever looked right now, and they're at home, so the Patriots should win this one very, very easily this week. I don't think anybody's going to pick against them. Raiders at the Vikings. Definitely going to take the Vikings in this one. The Raiders, week 1, they won the game. Last week, they didn't look the worst last week. Early on, they looked good. They had a bad second quarter, which is where all the Chiefs' points came from. And then, the other 3 quarters, they really weren't bad. The Vikings, I had them winning last week, but they lost a close one. I think at home, I'm going to definitely take the Vikings. I do think they are for sure the better team here. And they're probably the popular pick for this matchup, I'm pretty sure. Going on, Chiefs at Ravens. This is a very interesting game. 2 very good teams. I'm so excited to watch Lamar and Mahomes go at it. The Ravens have looked really good. The Chiefs have not missed a step. But I'm going to have to take the Chiefs at home just because at home, it's kind of hard to bet against the Chiefs. They have one of the better home field advantages in the league. And they are definitely, still without a doubt a top 3 team right now. So we're going to take the Chiefs over the Ravens. But I definitely expect a very good game here. Definitely the game I'm most excited to watch this week. Falcons at the Colts. This is a tough one, honestly. Both teams 1-1. The Falcons looked terrible week 1. Last week they looked a lot better, but there were some injuries that I think helped them get that W, but they got it nonetheless. The Colts have been impressive, like I said earlier, despite the fact that they have lost Andrew Luck. I'm going to take the Colts at home here. This is probably one of the tougher games for me to pick this week. I definitely think this could go either way, but I'm going to take the Colts at home in this one. I think that they're going to take the dub there. And, maybe that's just a little bit of bias because I'm a Saints fan and I hate the Falcons. But I did have the Falcons winning week 1, and they got blown out. So, the Falcons are kind of up in the air right now. Packers versus Broncos. I'm definitely taking the Packers in this one. They've started the season off really solid, 2-0. They haven't looked great. They've, there's definitely still some issues there, but they're getting the dubs, and that's all that matters. The Broncos probably should have won last week. They definitely had some costly calls go against them. That roughing the passer on Bradley Chubb was just atrocious. That was just a really wild game. I picked the Bears to win, so I'm not really mad about it, but I definitely think the Broncos should have won that game. The Broncos haven't been good by any means, or they haven't been terrible either. They've been in their games. But the Packers at home, the Packers, just a better team. I'm going to go with the Packers in this one. Dolphins at Cowboys. Without a doubt, the Cowboys. The Dolphins are the worst team in the league. It's very clear. The Cowboys have looked really, really good the first 2 weeks. Dak has looked really, really good. And Dak should continue to look good again this week going against, the worst team in the league. So that's an easy one. There's no way the Cowboys are taking that L. Giants at the Buccaneers. Buccaneers looked very good I won't say very good, but they looked good in week 2. Their defenses looked good both weeks. Offensively, a little bit better in week 2. Obviously, we saw, Cam Newton still just isn't right, and that was definitely helpful to them. But you could see that the Bucs are making some improvements. The Giants look just as bad as ever, both weeks. So I'm going to go with the Bucs at home. I definitely think, Bucs aren't a good team, but they're certainly better than the Giants, and they're at home, so it just makes sense to go with them in this matchup. Panthers at the Cardinals. I'm going to take the Cardinals here. The Cardinals are 0-1-1, of course. Panthers are 0-2. But we'll see. I don't think this is just like a easy win for the Cardinals just because Cam Newton's not playing, because you could argue that the Panthers might look better with the next man up, just because of the fact that Cam has been, it's very clear, last season and then early this season, Cam, he's still not right. He's not that same guy right now, and that could be hurting the team more than helping. Cam being half strength might be worse for the team than going to the backup QB. We don't know. We'll find out. The Panthers might actually be in a better position with the healthy guy playing now, even though he is, not as talented as Cam Newton. But I do think the Cardinals, because of that, I have to take the Cardinals at home in this one. But we'll see how the Panthers do. I'll be interested to see how the backup plays. Steelers at Niners. Niners 2-0. Niners looking really solid right now. I'm not surprised by it. I had the Niners maybe around that 8-win mark, maybe 9 wins. I'm not surprised at all, but I think they've exceeded my expectations a little bit. The Steelers obviously lost Ben Roethlisberger. They didn't look terrible with Mason in the game, but just under those circumstances and the Niners being at home and the Niners playing good football right now, I'm going to have to go with the Niners to go 3-0. They're playing good football right now, and I think they definitely have all the advantages in this one here. James Conner also might not play in that game. We're not sure either, so that's something else to think about. The Saints and the Seahawks. My Saints. Drew Brees out for 6 to 8 weeks. I'm still confident in the team. They said they're going to use Teddy and Taysom. They're going to go 2 QB system. Teddy didn't look great when he came in last week, but you have to realize that game plan, there wasn't a game plan installed for Teddy. That game plan and the entire offense is built around Drew Brees. That's just what it is. And from what they said, when Teddy came in, they just told him, make the safe plays, take completions, don't try to get too crazy. This week, we're going to see what Sean Payton's really made of. We're going to see a whole new offense that's built around the skill set of Teddy and Taysom. And I'm very excited to see what that's like, but I have to take the Seahawks in this one. Seahawks have looked really solid so far this year. They're at home, one of the toughest places to play. It's the first week of the Teddy and Taysom experiment. You got to figure there's going to be some growing pains with it. I think that they'll show promise, but I don't expect things to run perfectly smooth in that one, and especially playing in that tough Seahawks stadium. I gotta go against my team here and just take the Seahawks in this one. But I think that the Saints have enough talent on the team, and Sean Payton is good enough that they can weather the storm. While Drew Brees is gone, maybe hover around 500 and then try to make a push when he gets back. But I do think the Seahawks take the game this week. Texans at Chargers. This is a tough one. Two good teams that are both 1-1. But both teams are very close to being 2-0. You know, they've been in both of those games that they lost. This really is a tough one here. I'm gonna take the home team in this one, because when it's that tough of a matchup, two really good teams, I think you take the home team. I'm gonna take the Chargers in this one, but this should definitely be one of the better games of the week. Rams at Browns. I'm definitely gonna take the Rams here. I would love for the Browns to get this W, but you know, the Browns, you know, week one, they underwhelmed me. Even last week, you know, I feel like they underwhelmed me just a little bit. Just based on the fact of the team they were going against, I feel like they should have actually been able to put up even more points on the Jets in the situation that the Jets were in. The Jets looked like one of the worst teams I ever saw on that Monday night game. It was just so bad. But the Browns did what they had to do. They didn't play bad. They got the win. But I just thought the Browns should have manhandled them even more just based on the situation. The Rams through first 2 weeks have looked really solid. You know, they're still a great team. They're a team that looks like they could head to the Super Bowl again this year. So I'm going to take the Rams in this one. And then Monday Night Football, Bears at Redskins. I'm going to take the Redskins in this one. They're 0-2, but I'm going to take them. The Bears, week one, didn't look very good. Last week, they honestly should have lost. But they won, but they should have lost. The Redskins aren't the greatest by any means, but I'm gonna take the Redskins at home in this one. I think on Monday Night Football, the Redskins are gonna come out and they're gonna handle business and get that W. So those are my picks for week 3. Let me know what game you're most excited about below. Who do you think's gonna win the night? And as always, I will see you guys next time.